Coming up today, we're chatting with 360.
I questioned whether I was able to keep doing it anymore because the nerves were so bad.
I'll fill you in on Glennie Ray's new single, and Dan will tell you about some great events coming up in Lake Mac. Produced on Awabakal and Warramai land, this is The Good Stuff on Newcastle Live.
This is
Good.
good stuff.
The good stuff.
National treasure Glennie Ray is back with a brand new single called Ribcage. The track was engineered by Robbie Long and features a lineup of some pretty accomplished musos including Shannon Bourne, Laura Sands, Jason Nelson and Shane Shanks. The song is beautifully fragile and also very bold, and it features some backing vocals from Hot Flush. To give it a listen and find out more, head on over to newcastlelive.com.au.
This is
Good stuff.
Next week, one of the first Oz music rappers that I ever listened to will be taking to the stage at King Street. We're talking about 360. Here's the chat that we had with this bloody legend. From what I've read, before your last tour, you were feeling a little bit like rusty. What was it like getting back on stage?
It was so hard. I hadn't done it for about 5 or 6 years. I thought I was going to I thought it was like riding a bike, but it wasn't, it was just like, I felt new again. Like I was very self-conscious on stage, and I was like, it was like seeing myself through other people's eyes and but a very critical lens. And I don't even think that's how people were seeing me, but I was just feeling a little bit self-conscious. But after the first run, that sort of disappeared, and then by the regional tour it was fine.
Yeah. How'd you get through that?
It was difficult. Like I questioned whether I was able to keep doing it anymore because the nerves were so bad, and I was like, I don't know if this is even worth doing it. But I kept working, like putting work on myself, like going to the gym and making sure I was super healthy. And then by the time it came around the next time, I was a lot more confident and felt better within myself. So it just sort of naturally fizzled out.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've been working with a life coach too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's been a game changer for me. That's been amazing. Like the work that we've done together is like, taken my life to such better place, like much better place than it was in before.
Yeah, yeah. And how do you feel that's influenced your music?
Well, I've always I always rap about stuff that I'm going through and whatever that is, and so it's just giving me more content to talk about. Also giving me a deeper understanding of myself, and what I feel like I need to do to become the person I know I can be, sort of thing. So it's given me a lot more content.
And I feel like when you first, catapulted into the stratosphere, which was over a decade ago, I feel like the scene was very different in terms of what people were rapping and writing about. Do you feel the same?
The scene back then was totally different. It's crazy how it's changed now. Like everything's completely shifted. People are a lot more open-minded about different styles of music, and people doing experimental sounds and pushing the envelope more. Where back then it was like there was a sound that people knew Australian hip hop as, and back then, if people tried to step around that and push the boundaries a little bit, they'd become quite ostracized, and there was a lot of gatekeeping and stuff like that. But now it's a lot better. I feel like everyone's a lot more supportive of people who are trying different things and trying to push the envelope.
Yeah, yeah. Did you feel like you were kind of kept in a box with those constraints of the scene back then?
Definitely. But I think a lot of it was also my own doing. Like,
yeah, okay.
You want to fit in, like you want people to accept you, and so you think okay, they're gonna like this type of music, so I better keep doing that kind of music. Where I think along the way I learned, if I'm going to excel, then I've just got to do exactly what I want to be doing, even if people are gonna hate it.
Yeah, which would have been terrifying at the time, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was one of the hardest things to get past, like accepting that, okay, I'm going to start making music that's way more pop influenced, and people are going to hate it, especially the rap, like the hardcore rap fans, they're going to hate it, but I've got to stick to my guns and just do what I believe in, and it really paid off.
Yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of the more pop influenced stuff, I want to ask you about Boys Like You. I mean, it's one of your biggest songs. Reflecting on it now, how does that song sit with you?
It's quite cute. Like looking back on it, the song I think was very, very innocently made the way we did it. It was not something we expected to go big. It was quite funny. Like back then, we thought that was just going to be a song that people enjoyed. When we played that album to people, they always like, "Oh, this song's awesome." But we never thought it was going to be a big single. We didn't even pitch it to radio at first until the album was actually released, and then people were like flocking to that the most. And then we're like, all right, we've got to release that as a single, and it ended up being the big one. But it's looking back on it, it's amazing. It's just cool. It kind of taught me the lesson. Don't always think the radio singles that you have to pick are gonna have to be the most poppy sounding or the most catchy. Like, go with whatever is the favorite, whatever one is you love the most. That's the song you got to go with.
And was that the song that you loved the most?
Yeah, so that was one of the favorites. Child was one of the favorites, which was another one. We didn't think that was going to be a single either.
Yeah.
And there were some other ones that were definitely not radio singles that were favorites, more like personal ones, like I Hope You Don't Mind.
Yeah, cool. Do you have anything that you're working on at the moment?
Yeah, so over the last couple of years, I've been releasing a bunch of music. I've put out about 5 or 6 singles, and then I put out a mixtape. And I was sort of just trying to feel out where I wanted my sound to go. I wasn't quite sure. And now I'm in a place where I understand exactly what I want to be doing, and I'm working with Tyrone Harpy, and he's the guy who's produced the majority of the stuff that I've done over the last couple of years. And we've really found our stride, I guess. And we're working on my next album, and it's shaping up to be really, really cool. It's so cool. I'm loving it.
Brilliant. Now, before I let you go, you're coming to Newcastle on the 16th of March. You're going to be playing King Street. I'd love to know, you were here in Newey last year for the Farewell Festival, saying goodbye to the Cambo. How was that experience in your eyes? It
was amazing, but it was kind of sad because that place was iconic, and I'm going to miss playing there, But it was really, really fun way to send it off. I don't know what this venue's like. Have you been there? Is it cool?
Yeah. I actually, you know what? When I heard that the Cambo was closing down, I was pretty devastated because I really thought it would be the end of live music here in Newey. But it's kind of elevated the scene a bit, It's really sad that we've lost the Cambridge, but King Street is such a great venue. It's really cool. Yeah, there's different layers and stuff.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
Is it new?
It was a nightclub. But now they've got bands in there, and they have touring artists and stuff like that coming through, which is sick. Such a good use of the space.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hell yeah.
It's been so fantastic chatting with you, and can't wait to see you return to Newey in March.
Thank you so much.
This is where it
sounds good.
The good stuff.
March is set to be one of the most exciting months on the Lake Macquarie event calendar. With the Lake Mac Women in Sport Leadership and Careers Expo, First Class 23 exhibition, Shadow Box, and the Lake Macquarie One Act Play all set to hit the region this month, there's no shortage of stuff to check out. You can catch all the highlights by heading to newcastlelive.com.au.
The good stuff. That's it for the good stuff today. Thank you so much to 360 for spending some time with us today. Be sure to catch him at King Street next week, and we'll see you tomorrow from 4 p.m. for more of the good stuff.